Hi, I'm Avory,
And this is Lily.
and welcome back to From the Closet. Today we're going to be covering But I'm a Cheerleader, which was supposed to be our free movie of the month for September.
It is now October.
In fact, we just looked, and our last recorded episode was on September 3rd.
It
Is now October 6th. Yeah, everything is a mess. And we're going to be recording our free movie of the month for October in literally 2 days.
In fact, you should already have that available to you. It should already be uploaded to you by that time.
Yeah, by the time y'all get to hear this, the free movie of the month for October will already be uploaded.
This is such a mess.
Yeah, everything is a mess. Ooh, boy.
You know what's a bigger mess? This movie. Or should I say, concentration camps in general.
Conversion therapy.
Oh, conversion.
This is...
Oh, that... I mean, what's the difference, really?
There's...
Other than killing.
Difference.
Other than killing, of course, but...
Nah, and we'll get into that. But anyway, before we get into all of that, as always, this podcast will contain spoilers for the movie But I'm a Cheerleader. There will be a link below to where you can purchase or rent the movie, and chances are it's probably still free on YouTube Movies.
It's been a month and it's still free.
I mean, it's been free for quite a while, so I can't imagine it disappearing. But yeah, all right, let's actually dive into this. So this movie came out in the 90s. I want to say 99.
Ooh. Definitely a progressive movie for its time.
I actually kind of want to look that up. Or, yeah. So I'm just going to click on Chrome and wait for it to load. But while we're going, it definitely came out before the release of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we've got some interesting cast members. Supposedly, the actress who played Graham, whose name I can't remember, was actually closeted for the entire time this movie was in development. Just funny thing.
Also, Zuko, the voice of Zuko.
Dante Bosco, voice of Zuko, was in this movie.
I can only hear
a character named Dolph.
I can only hear Zuko.
Yeah. It's kind of funny to hear Zuko announce that he's a homosexual varsity wrestler.
Zuko would say that's right, buddy.
Okay. Yes, I was right. This movie did come out in 1999, and now I'm going to close Chrome. Oh, I think my key presses got caught in the recording. That's rough. Maybe your voice will mask them out or something.
That's rough, buddy.
Or I can generate silence into that void.
The void of darkness.
But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the cast because I don't know most of the cast. But we do also have a very famous drag performer, RuPaul, who played one of the counselors at the conversion therapy camp. I can't remember his name.
Is this the person that had the "It's cool to be straight" shirt?
The straight is great shirt, yeah.
Oh yes. I mean,
he's a very famous drag performer.
When it comes to actors, we're gonna be following at least Dante Bosco's career. I know that for a fact.
Well, not too much of his career, honestly, because there's a lot of stuff that he's done that, we're probably never gonna talk about.
So we already have two other of his works planned.
Yeah, but then like also he's directed stuff before, and he also
Really?
started out as a break dancer. Um,
That's
I'm
honestly
not
something I kind of
kidding.
want to see.
But yeah.
Planning that on my free
Um,
time.
anyway, on to this movie. We start with our main character Megan at like cheer practice, it seems, and
Yeah, yeah.
she's daydreaming about all the other girls on her cheer squad. Clearly,
Yeah.
um, and it's got this really interesting music playing at the same time. And then, uh, at the end of this cheer sesh,
Goes to her
gets
boyfriend.
she yeah she gets picked up by her boyfriend, who I I'm bi, but if
But
somebody kissed like that, I wouldn't want to be with them either, and I would not like to kiss them either.
that
Like
was way
holy hell.
too long.
Way too long and way too weird. It looked like he was trying to devour her face.
Honestly, half of me was like, this movie is propaganda because, they raised up, being gay is okay, but also the fact that being straight is that.
Yeah, it's oof. I his name was Jared. I remember that now. Yeah, Jared,
Wait, Jared from State
you
Farm?
that's Jake. Jared, Jared, you're a terrible kisser.
God,
That's what. That's
that's what he's
why
from.
Megan doesn't like to kiss you. Not because she's a lesbian, but because you're a terrible fucking kisser.
No, what was that? I remember that meme was like, I do not like to kiss you because I'm a not because I'm a lesbian. Well, I am a lesbian, but that's not why I don't like to kiss you.
Yes, exactly. I mean, hell, I mean, at this point, she didn't even know that she was a lesbian.
Well, I mean,
Um,
you always have that subconsciously, and of course, we move throughout the movie, and we see her parents are like, "Should we really do it? Yeah, let's be terrible parents."
yeah, and to be fair, like the boyfriend is even terrible too, because pretty early on, he's like, "I can't believe you're going." To which she responds, "It's just a couple of hours before you go." I didn't pick up on this at first
Oh,
until I had watched the movie several times. But he
oh,
knows. He knows she's being sent to conversion therapy, and she doesn't.
like I know exactly what you're talking about. This I don't know why I remember that exact part of the movie.
Yeah, it massively fucked up. And like he's driving slowly back home too, which even further indicates that he knows. Like, oh boy. And let's talk about that scene where uh, they basically decide to intervene in massive quotation marks and to just like confront her about it.
Mhm.
Okay, so very, very uncomfortable. There's a lot of weird, stupid stereotypes. Like they basically act like all females who are vegetarian are lesbians, which like what?
I mean, that's probably the point, It's like they're all dumb.
Yeah, it's like yeah, and like earlier there was even that whole scene where like they sort of implied that being gay was unnatural. Just never mind that it's been found in over 500 different types of animals. But yeah, anyway,
I mean, not like
they
they're.
have this whole thing where they're like, oh, we're going to send you off to this summer camp called True Directions.
which is
And I'm just
they
like,
call it a summer
woo.
camp, and now you say it now, it's like, is it even a freaking summer? No one talked about it gonna
It's
be,
not.
yeah,
Like, it's clearly like spring-ish era. Like, that's just how it seems to me in the movie. But
actually, wait a
like,
minute, the, the boyfriend was doing football, right?
yeah.
That must make it take around fall, because that's when football season starts.
Yeah, but like the trees were green and stuff.
September?
Uh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just reading too much into a 90s movie. But
Yeah, that's true.
anyway. um so we get to this camp and they start doing all this stuff about, oh, we're gonna you gotta find your route, and all these people have like different uh supposed routes, like, oh, going to an all girls school, or too many times in the locker room showers, or traumatic breasts.
Huh.
Yeah, like, what the fuck does that even mean?
I remember there was actually one person who was actually straight in that camp.
Yes, Jan, just she was straight but incredibly tomboyish, and it was like, honestly, can we get some justice for Jan?
Just
'Cause-
hashtag Justice for Jan. Can we get that trending on Twitter
yes,
for a
please.
1990s movie?
1999
Oh yeah,
specifically.
1999.
But yeah, it was kind of just a lot of there is a lot of sexism and homophobia and maybe even a little transphobia in this movie. And that's kind of
The point?
what it was going for.
Yeah,
Like, the whole thing was like the movie was trying to make you feel
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it accomplished it, definitely.
And like RuPaul's character was very interesting because he was supposedly an ex-gay, but several times throughout the movie you catch him looking at dudes and he's clearly longing for dudes.
I think it's definitely. I think that plays into the central part of the movie where the movie is definitely trying to say you just can't change that.
Yeah, like the movie is definitely showing you like conversion therapy just does not work. And I'll say this, as much as I did enjoy this movie, it is a funny movie. It is hilarious, and the romance between um, Megan and Graham is pretty progressive for its time. This is 1999.
Oh yeah, it's
But this movie
definitely.
portrays conversion therapy in the most rose-colored glasses that it possibly can. What I mean is, like, conversion therapy is far worse and far more horrific than what is displayed in the movie. Like, people have actually died from things done to them at conversion therapy, including lobotomies. There's electroshock torture. There's injecting people with drugs and forcing that make them have a gag reflex, and then forcing them to watch gay porn, which is basically called aversion therapy. And they a lot of what I just mentioned was referred to as aversion therapy. And to be fair to the movie, there is a slight mention of aversion therapy from a girl who shocks herself every time she thinks of other girls. But I mean, it's very clear that she's getting off of the pain. So
Yeah.
there is that too. All right, so conversion therapy, a lot more horrific than this movie portrays. So don't, like, if you have not seen this movie, do not go into this expecting it to accurately portray conversion therapy.
That's just not what it's for, and I don't blame it for not doing that.
Yeah, because it surely would have gotten a severely worse rating if it had conversion like accurate portrayals of conversion therapy in it. And also, just another side note, there are a lot of conversion therapy camps that have basically told kids that if they can't if whatever they're doing isn't working for them, that they should commit suicide because it's better than living life as a gay person. A lot of conversion therapy camps have actually said that to kids, pushing kids to commit suicide. And it is just absolutely sad to me that conversion therapy is still legal in a lot of the US. I know where you live, Lily, it is
Mm-hmm.
no longer illegal.
You
I
mean
mean,
legal?
it is no longer legal. Sorry, yeah, they banned it years ago. I don't know exactly when, but here where I live in Alabama, it is still very much legal, and it's very much a problem. It is something that I was worried about, which is why, like, I personally did not come out until adulthood.
Yeah.
Um,
For reference, in Oregon, there's a lot of LGBT rights that have been enacted in the good state of Oregon, and most of the West, for that matter.
yeah, the West is definitely a lot better than the South. But I mean, hey, at least Alabama isn't as bad as Texas.
Oh yeah.
Ooh boy. But anyway, let's discuss uh, these steps and some of the other characters. We have this one character, and I don't remember her name, but she is so clearly brainwashed into believing that being gay is a bad thing and that it's something that is wrong with her.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Honestly, for a lot of the characters, I actually started melding them together, and then after a certain point, it's like, wait a minute, who are you? I thought you were you.
uh, but anyway, there's a lot that's going on. We basically have uh and let's just talk about like how ridiculous it is that like ridiculously stupid it is for these camp counselors to put a bunch of lesbians in a room together and expect them not to, you know, do anything. And the same with gay men. Like they put a bunch of gay men in a room together and they expect none of them to ever make any moves. And I'm just like, really? You think that's going to work out for you?
I mean, the camp counselors were not portrayed as smart.
No, they weren't. Especially that one lady. Um,
I know you're.
but
Yeah, the basically the boss.
but like from the very beginning, we get the sense that Graham isn't going to conform. Graham knows that this whole thing is bullshit. She knows that it doesn't work. And she's already telling our main character, Megan, that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also, I should even say that there is quite a bit of hate speech in this movie as well. They use the F slur and the D slur many times.
Yeah, this is not a movie to watch with your family. I'll tell you that much.
No, it is certainly not a family movie. But yeah, there's a lot it is just a lot, and sometimes I'm in a mood where I want to watch the movie, but some of the things that are in it are just too much for me to handle at that particular moment.
Yeah. This is honestly nothing on the movie because when it comes to the in sense of what the movie should have done, this is everything. Like this is what they were going for, and they did it perfectly. Too
Yeah,
good. They were too good.
yeah, it was so good to the point that it it sometimes resonated too close to home.
Yeah.
Speaking of home, let's talk about her parents. Because not only were they shit to send her to conversion therapy, but to make matters even worse, they you have this entire sneaking out excursion
Mm-hmm.
where a bunch of the girls they go to a local gay bar and they hang out, and then they get back and um, you know Megan and Graham they go off and like they go off somewhere within the camp and they basically sleep together. um, and this one girl who very clearly likes Graham is just extremely jealous, so she kind of doesn't really turn them in, but almost guarantees that they'll get caught.
Yeah.
And it's just wait, no, I'm getting events mixed up. But anyway, she basically makes sure that she makes sure that the camp counselors know that there was an excursion to the gay bar. And Megan's parents show up and they basically tell her that if she had been involved, which they didn't know that she had, that they'd basically disown her.
And that's what they did.
Yeah. And like, I'm just thoroughly disgusted by parents who do this type of shit.
Okay.
Let me just say, to be clear, to any people who are thinking about being parents who are listening to this podcast, if you aren't prepared to love your kids unconditionally, don't have kids. Period.
I back up the statement completely. Um, Honestly, when it was like in the beginning of the movie, they were saying some lines like, I hope we're doing it, for the best. And I was kind of hoping that during the course of the movie, they would realize, oh, this is a terrible idea. Obviously, that's not
Yeah.
what happened, but
Yeah. And I wish, sometimes people are, sometimes people do come around even if they, had some massive fuck ups before. One thing I wish this movie did was portray at least one Christian who was not homophobic. Because every Christian that we see throughout the movie, aside from Megan herself, is homophobic.
it's the 1999s. Christian and gay is unheard of, even in the movie where talk about it's okay to be who you are.
Yeah, and like but even back then, even in the 90s, there were a lot of Christians who were pro LGBT. It's it wasn't really totally unheard of.
I wouldn't say the minority, but I think the quiet fits the description better.
Yeah, it is disappointing. I'll say that. I just um
Yeah.
because there is this massive stigma. And I'm speaking personally from my own experience. It has been rough as someone who is Christian and a bisexual trans person, because you get hate from both sides. You get hate from Christians because they think it. A lot of Christians think that, me being myself goes against the Bible, which it doesn't. And I might even do a video on my channel about that later. Uh, and then you get hate from other LGBT people because they're like, oh, why are you still supporting a group that has done so much harm? And I'm like, I'm not supporting any group of people. I mean, this is literally just what I believe about the creation of the universe and life after death. This literally, like,
I mean, you don't even go to church.
no, I don't go to church anymore because I can't find a church in Alabama that accepts me.
If
Or
I,
at least not one that I can easily get to.
yeah,
And it is frustrating. It is very frustrating.
I'm not religious, so I honestly think if I looked, I could. Actually, weird. I have two churches like really close to me, like walking distance. Anyway, I could probably.
There's probably at least 15 churches that I could walk to from here.
You live in Alabama, not exactly surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think if I were to start looking at churches, I bet at least I'd find three near me that are pro LGBT. At
Yeah,
least three.
hell, thinking about it, I can actually think of two churches that are actually on the street that I live on. And matter of fact, they're literally both on the same intersection.
Wow.
Yeah.
I may live off the street where two churches are, but I mean, the two churches are on the same street.
But anyway, let's actually get back to the movie. We got pretty far off topic with this one.
This is kind of relevant.
I mean, a little bit. Okay. Looks like we've been talking for about 21 minutes.
I'm on 27.
Yeah. Wait, you're on 27? It's kind of hard for me to see.
Yeah. When I said 27, I thought, well, that could look like a 1. I know it's a 7, but you could confuse it. Okay, still off topic. Let's go back to where were we? We were just at the after the gay bar, all of that, and then some way or another, they got caught.
Yeah, like, the gay bar excursion is kind of where we really get the reveal of how Graham feels about Megan. And there were a lot of hints that Megan was into Graham before the sneaking out. But it really, really got confirmed.
Then they slept together, and then everyone caught him.
Yeah, but let's rewind just a little bit to Megan outing Dolph and Clayton.
Right.
Because that was a thing that also happened. I was so disappointed to see that. But I've kind of even, okay, despite the fact that, she ends up outing Dolph and Clayton, and Dolph ends up getting kicked out of True Directions, and Clayton ends up staying
in a
somehow.
doghouse, I believe.
Yeah, that was disgusting. They forced him into a doghouse, and there was also this whole thing about the ex gays that were helping everyone out and causing havoc for True Directions, which props to them, because I know a lot of people that would rather just stay away from conversion therapy camps entirely and not even try to help the kids. But to be fair to them, it's not exactly their responsibility, and it can be really rough to even attempt it, because you will get slurs thrown at you, and even by the kids that you're trying to help, which is exactly what happens in the movie.
I like, and it's so, like we don't know this at this point, but Dolph went to them,
Yes.
and I love the interaction. Like, okay, actually, I should wait. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Um,
So I wanted to talk about her outing Dolph and Clayton because eventually she and Graham basically sleep together.
mhm.
They try to keep it as PG-13 as they can. Is this movie even PG-13 or is it PG?
Oh no, but I could
I would hope it's
swear
PG-13 with
they did get a higher rating because of right before they got Dolph got outed. When
um considering that Graham actually used the F word at least once. I'm gonna say that this movie was rated PG-13.
I'm gonna look.
And yeah, it definitely didn't feel like a rated R movie,
What
but I wouldn't be.
is? I wouldn't put it past it, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But anyway, they end up sleeping together. They get caught because jealous girl again. Um,
Yeah,
and to be fair to her, like I don't even think she recognizes that she's jealous. I think she's just like to her, oh, they're breaking the rules. That's what she's telling herself. But clearly, she likes Graham. And like a lot
interesting.
of this is happening without dialogue.
Apparently, it was rated R.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Well, dang.
I mean, I
Anyways,
wouldn't be surprised.
um,
They did have that what's it, masturbation scene?
yeah, there were a few masturbation scenes. Um, but you don't even really see anything either.
I think
That's the
a
thing.
few too many.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Mm, the pastor at my former church had an expression that he used to use a lot that I really feel like fits here. It
Really?
was explicitly implied.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they get caught sleeping together, or they don't actually get caught in the act of doing it, but somebody snitched on them, and we know who it was.
Though they did get caught in the same bed, and they were sleeping together.
No,
Well, I
like,
mean,
this was later. Like, it was crazy. But um, it ends up that Megan gets, an offer where she has to partner with Rock, who is the main counselor lady's son, who is very clearly gay, in a simulated sexual lifestyle thing.
which on that just the words you said made me want to like barf in my mouth.
Yeah, and that is exactly how I felt when she said it in the movie. And then when it actually got to that part of the movie, I was just so grossed out.
I
Like that
also,
was probably the most disturbing scene in the movie for me.
I
And
also,
I'm bi.
yeah, I also love the scene, like the scene we're on where it Megan just looks or it's like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's like Megan very clearly is like, no, I'm not doing this. Um, but Graham's parents show up because of this,
Hmm.
and she is afraid to leave. Um, I think I don't. I they don't really say it in the movie, but I have a strong suspicion that were this real life, Graham would have been physically abused. I feel.
Yeah. Well, right now it feels like that sort of rich parent vibe that they don't really
Yeah,
care about their child.
yeah, exactly. Oh, it's like, oh, I'm rich and I don't have time to deal with you. You get your shit together. and get it. I think like a direct quote from the movie was like, "Get this gay stuff out of your system."
I, that might, yeah, sounds. Anyway,
But yeah,
Megan
initially.
flees to, that other house. We see it, Dolph again, and, well, I was going to say that interaction between Dolph and Megan, kind of wholesome.
Yeah, that was so wholesome. It felt like a brother sister moment. And despite him outing her,
Her outing
that
him.
yeah, despite her outing him, he ends up welcoming her with open arms and doesn't hold it against her at all. And it's just, refreshing to see because in the past, I had this friend who I would say that I'm still friends with them now, but at the time, they had not revealed to me that they were non-binary. I don't even think they knew themselves. But what I did know was that they were questioning their sexuality.
Yeah.
And, they, you know, back then, I still didn't even know my sexuality. I still wasn't admitting to other people or even to myself that I was trans. So pretty much everyone just, to pretty much everyone, I was a boy. Um, but this person had dated me at one point. We'd been in a relationship for 2 years, I think, maybe less. It might have been like a year and a half. I'm not sure, but they their secret that they were not entirely straight got out.
Huh.
And I got blamed for it. And to be fair, I had told one person. But I knew that person didn't tell anyone. And despite me learning exactly who ended up spreading it, I was never believed on that. And it ruined our friendship for years. And fortunately, we're friends again now. But
That's good.
it was nice to see someone who it wasn't as soul crushing for Dolph because everyone at the camp already knew he was gay.
Yeah.
And honestly, getting kicked out of the camp
Was the best
was
thing.
the best thing. Yeah, it was the best thing for him. It would be the best thing for anyone to get kicked out of the camp. But anyway, Megan shows up to this house with Dolph and some other people who are adopting disowned kids. And you get to see these two gay adults, like they're clearly in a relationship, and you get to see them argue with each other briefly, and they settle it like healthy adults. And it's just like, I know so many straight couples
Who
where
can't
that
do
argument
that?
would have, yeah, that argument would have turned into a shouting match and they would have gone to bed angry and it never would have been resolved. Like, a lot of straight couples I know don't have the level of communication that these adults showed in this movie. And it's not unrealistic either, because I know a lot of straight couples that do have this, that are capable of communicating in this way. And I know a lot of gay couples that are capable of communicating in this way. So like it works. And disagreements, like there's a saying that I really hate that fighting is part of a healthy relationship. It's not.
No.
Disagreements
Yeah,
are part of a
disagree.
healthy relationship.
You should
Yes.
not be the exact same, but you should also, have room to, I want to say, argue your own opinion.
Yeah. you should be able to handle disagreements effectively and effectively communicate with each other without getting furious.
And
I have
this is
seen couples argue where, like at the end of every sentence, they put the word love, and it is the funniest thing ever.
I really hate your opinion. Love.
But yeah, it's like Megan gets there, and she's talking to Dolph, and it's very clear that she can't just let Graham go. Um, she feels like she has to go back.
I love how
And
Dolph is just like, yeah, I'm gonna help you, but this is definitely not for my own personal gain or anything.
yeah, it's like, oh, you're not even going to try to get Clayton?
5 minutes in, they're already making out.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we should, like, we move forward to this graduation scene that is just so bizarre. And, like, Megan tries, I think, twice to get Graham to come with her, and she fails both times. But
To the
then
promised land.
yeah, but then she remembers that Graham had wanted to see her cheer, um, and it was something they had talked about while they were sleeping together. Sound like you have the sniffles.
Really? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, but so somehow Megan has all her cheerleading stuff with her, and I mean they did show her bringing it with her to the conversion therapy camp, so it's not that far fetched. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It was just like in a moment of, well, I guess I have it now.
yeah, it was like okay
It,
that this is happening,
it was a surprise
and we see
tool
her
that would
cheer.
help us later.
Yeah, and we see her cheer, and this like ends up charming uh, Graham to the point where she gets up and uh, is about to run towards Megan, but then the main camp counselor, the Karen, who I'm just going to call her Karen from now on.
Deserves it.
This Karen just starts screaming at Megan, and Megan runs, and she starts telling the uh, I wish I remembered their names because I don't want to just keep referring to them as the adult gay couple because that just feels wrong to just refer to them as that. But I can't remember their names. She basically just starts pounding on the back window of their truck and telling them to go.
Look it.
Yeah, and then as they are starting up the truck, we see Graham running towards the truck and screaming for them to wait. And she does end up getting into the truck, the back of the truck bed with Megan, and they kiss. And pretty much that's the end of the movie. There is a little bit of a mid-credit scene where we see Megan's father go to stand in front of a group of people, and he's like, "Hi, everyone. My name is Asshole, and my daughter is a homosexual." And I'm like, but just ugh.
What is it? Conversion parent camp?
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure they even called conversion therapy homosexuals anonymous at one point in the movie. And then that's another thing that I find even more gross is just using the word homosexual as a noun.
Yeah, they use
Like,
it a lot.
yeah, I really hate when I hear people use it as a noun because pretty much anyone who's doing it is doing it to hate. Even if it like I know it's a grammatically correct, thing, but
Yeah.
it's like it's like calling women females. Like the only people that are doing it are being hateful.
Or creepy.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, I think that just about wraps up because we've basically covered our opinions on nearly every scene in the movie.
Yeah, but we basically just covered the entire movie. You didn't even need to watch it, but you should. Actually, honestly, I don't. You should, but be really prepared on what you're gonna see.
Yeah. Um, if you're the type of person who is extremely sensitive
Or easily
to
disturbed.
sexism who is extremely sensitive to sexism or homophobia, I wouldn't recommend this movie. Also, there are a few funny lines in this movie. I will say that we didn't really talk about it a lot, but it is a really funny movie. I mean,
I think
just to give you a little
Yeah.
taste, I'm not going to spoil all the jokes here, but just to give you a little taste, there is one line in the movie where Megan says to Graham, "Women have roles, and once you learn that, you'll stop objectifying them." Which I kind of died laughing at that.
I think it's about time to give our ratings.
Yeah, I suppose so. So, I'm gonna give this movie a flat 7.0.
Honestly, I feel like for me, I'm gonna give this a 6. 6 out of 10. I feel
That is fair enough.
Yeah, it's mainly for like I can understand why it's uncomfortable. It still made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like as uncomfortable, and that's partly the reason why I rate it, down to a 7
Yeah.
because I really appreciate what this movie did and what it was trying to do, but despite that, it still does make me uncomfortable. So yeah,
I don't
like I
think
said,
we
everyone.
I don't think we mentioned it
Okay, go
last
ahead.
time. We are now adding up to the board. We are doing for our regular program. We're doing what was that? My God, Studio Ghibli movie. Um,
Yeah, well, I mean, we've selected My Neighbor
yeah,
Totoro
My Neighbor
already,
Totoro, and
but
then
but but we are probably not going to record that one until Sunday because we are probably going to record How to Train Your Dragon on
yeah,
Friday,
but how
which
Neighbor Totoro's
which should be out before you guys even get to hear this episode.
yeah, My Neighbor
Um,
Totoro being the next regular one we record. How to Train Your Dragon being the just flat out next one we record.
yeah, being the October movie of the month. But anyway, I think that is going to be it for covering But I'm a Cheerleader. I've been Avory, and that
That been
that person over there has been Lily. And we will catch you next time.
bye.